I think even for people who don't consider themselves to be your diehard fan, for a lot of mixed martial arts fans, they felt like you should have been the backup. They feel like you should be the number one contender. So we appreciate your time, man, today. We really do. And I just want to know how you're doing after what, at least on the surface, looks like it has been a really challenging 72 hours.
Man, yeah, honestly, it's been a real challenging, probably like last 4 weeks because, you're trying to figure out what's going to happen. And it just didn't, none of it really made sense. None of it was really clicking with how it all was going down. And, we were trying to get the backup role. We were trying to get the Kobe fight. And it was always, oh, yeah, you and Kobe this date, you and Kobe for tough, you and Kobe May 6th. And then all of a sudden it was like Kobe wasn't responding. So then we were like, all right, well, let's try the backup role. And they were like, oh, well, no, they're not going to have a backup. And then all of a sudden he pops out. So then you're looking at it like, man, none of this really is clicking. And it's like kind of like in the movie Casino, where like you're riding in the front seat and the mobster's in the back seat. You know you're about to get shot. You know you're in a bad spot right now. Something bad's about to happen. And you're like, man, what did I do? Like, where did it come from? But I'm just glad that people are starting to notice it now. I think people realize it, and like you said, even if you're not a fan, you have to respect the work I put in, the stuff that what I've gone through. I'm on an 8-fight winning streak. I've won 12 of my last 13 fights, and it's not like I'm beating nobody's. I'm beating ranked guys. I have more ranked wins than the champion. I have more ranked wins than the former champion. That wasn't rematches. I have more ranked wins than all these guys. And I had the fourth longest winning streak in history of the welterweight division. And I'm not being mentioned in the title contention. When Dana comes out and says Kobe's next for sure, it just doesn't make any sense. And it just like, it was always we don't make fights after the fight. We don't do that after the fight. But where the hell did Kobe come from to jump the line in front of everybody when his last win was Masvidal, who's if we're talking about rankings, is number 12. If we're talking about wins, he's lost 2 in a row, and he got knocked out before that fight against Usman, and Kobe still didn't finish him in that fight, and Kobe almost got finished in that fight by Masvidal. So, like, how does he just jump the line in front? Like, if it was Masvidal getting into that fight, I would understand. If it was even like, we'll wait and see what happens with Masvidal, because I understand the storyline there. I understand the business aspect of it and the 3-piece of the soda and why I would get skipped, and that's what I was more nervous about than anything, is if Leon wins, they're going to wait and see what happens with the Masvidal fight. And I could understand that. But then that would also give me the Kobe fight, which I've always wanted anyway. And to me, it makes sense anyway. I'll take that fight because just to punch him in his mouth. And because he's been running from us for so long. He didn't want to fight me in London when we were asking for that fight. And it was like, Dana could say this, we were trying to make these fights for Kobe, and they just fell through. It's not falling through on my end. We didn't ask for more money. We didn't ask for a higher rank, a higher paycheck. I'm not a Costa. I'm saying, let me fight the motherfucker for free. Right. Let me fight it for what I'm getting paid right now. There's no negotiations on my end, and you guys are just saying no. So it just tells me that there's something bigger than this. And then when I tweeted it at first, I was like, man, maybe. But now I'm starting to think about it. It makes sense. Like, let me see if this thing really does go to court. Let's see if Kobe and Masvidal's court case is canceled out, because that's like the only other way it would make sense for this fight to even happen. Like, UFC doesn't want to look bad. They want Kobe to drop the charges on Masvidal because they're two of the biggest names in the company. And if they are negotiating with ESPN or whatever about the new TV deals, like, you don't want a trial case going on with your guys where the company looks like barbaric and stupid because you have two morons fighting each other outside of the cage when they just fought inside of the cage. But then these two morons are the ones that are getting the most shine. So it's like, what do you want? If you want to be a professional company, if you want to be like, show the fans that we're a real sport company, it's like the guy that's winning, the guy that's fighting, the guy that's putting it all on the line every day. And these young fighters that are coming up, it's like, now what do they think? It's like, so do we have to change the way we act? Do we have to change the way we do this? Do we have to change the way we do that? Because winning is not enough. And even a fan base, I think I still have a big enough fan base where I will be selling pay-per-views. I will be pushing a fight, selling the fight. There's not a lot of fighters that barely talk. I'm on social media. I have people that are behind me 100%. I have a country behind me. You saw me fight in Abu Dhabi. You saw the crowd of it, their reaction. And it's like, it really doesn't make any sense. My bad. I was going hard.
So, I mean, you make a compelling argument, man. So what do you think it is? I mean, obviously the record, all that stuff that you've done, do you feel like you're kind of being punished for being a professional in a lot of ways, right? Because there's a lot of, fuckery that goes on outside the cage with other people. And that ends up being a positive for some guys just because they're out there in the news.
Yeah. I mean, after my last fight, when I got the Sean Brady fight, that's when I was like, am I being punished? Because I just beat number 4 in Wonder Boy, and then I beat number 5 in Luke, and there was 4 guys above me that were no fights. And I was like, why am I going to fight a Sean Brady? It makes no sense for me to fight downward. But then they gave me that fight and they forced that fight. So then that's what I was like, man, dude, maybe they got something against me. But then I go out there and I finish him in Abu Dhabi, and I was still an underdog on that fight card, and one of the biggest cards of the year in Abu Dhabi. The crowd was going nuts, and to get a finish like that, you're expecting something bigger to happen for you. You're expecting to hop right back on the train and keep the ball moving. But then it was the waiting game, and it's like, what are we getting? Oh, well, we'll see what happens next. And then it was like Gilbert just won his fight, so I was like, okay, well, I guess since nothing else is happening, we're gonna fight Gilbert. And it's like, no, Gilbert's fighting Masvidal. You're gonna fight Kobe. So then I'm like, all right, well, I'm fighting Kobe, so that's a fight I always wanted. I'll take that fight. Let's do it on the March card. Let's do it in London on the same card as Usman and Leon, because it makes the most sense. And if somebody does have to get pulled off the card, you have 2 welterweights on there that are willing to step in and weigh in, which I weighed in multiple times at under 170 anyway. So the fact that they didn't make that happen, that's when I was like, none of this really makes any sense at all. Like, it doesn't. From a business point, it doesn't really make sense. From a fighter point, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm just wondering.
I have so many things to say. Belal Muhammad with us here on the Anik Florian podcast. Appreciate you guys joining us live on the channel. This will be repurposed in all locations after the fact. But you hit on a lot of truths there, and you weren't long-winded at all, by the way. I thought you were efficient in setting that all up. And again, anyone who's trying to sit here and state a case for Belal Muhammad as the number 1 contender, it's not a hard thing to do, Belal. I did it on our podcast episode that comes out later today, right? 6 wins for you since the start of 2020, just 2 for Colby Covington. You go back 4 years, you have 10 fights to his 5. Obviously, we mentioned the 8-fight winning streak, the top 5 wins that you have, the fact that most of the loudest ovations in Abu Dhabi during that week leading up to the Sean Brady fight were reserved for you on a massive pay-per-view. You go out, knock the guy out, you win the performance bonus and everything else. I do want to read a quote here from Booger Beard. I love the UFC, but my opinion is that every time they allow someone like Colby to skip the line while more deserving fighters are passed over, they are delegitimizing the foundation of the organization, which is competition. The goal should be to find the best fighters, not the best talkers. And I don't know. There are a lot of frustrations with the fan base. I think a lot of them are rooted in Colby Covington's inactivity, but you and Khamzat Chimaev have both come out and essentially alleged together that there have been 6 combined situations where you guys collectively have been offered that fight and he hasn't taken it.
Exactly. And then, like you said, the best talker. He's not even a good talker. When he talks, he mumbles. It's written down. It looks stupid. It's not professional. It's not good. And then even when he's in the press conference point of view, why? Because he says stupid stuff. Because he says outlandish things that the hillbilly drunks are going to be cheering for. No, that's not a good talker. Like when Conor did it, it looked good. When Chael does it, it looks good. It sounds good. It's witty. When he does it, it's just stupid. And you're going to give a guy 3 of his last fights are going to be for the title fight. Like, how does that work at all? When his fight in between are guys that are on losing streaks. He hasn't been a guy that's won a fight in how many years? He hasn't been a guy like that. Yeah. Every single guy he's been have come off 2-fight losing streaks. But when I'm looking at it, and like you said, now the fans are starting to realize that they're starting to see it's a joke. It does delegitimize the sport. And it just makes, like I said, when I look at myself and I look at what I represent and the people that are like look up to me, and like I never thought I would have like this type of push or fan base where I have little kids, Arab kids from the Palestinian community, from different Arab countries, Abu Dhabi. My son started fighting because of you, because of this, and it when something like this happens, it tells me, man, I'm just done. I'm gonna quit. But then I look at those kids and I know that they're doing this. They're fighting because they look up to a guy like me. So if I'm going to quit on myself, I'm going to quit on my dreams, which is the goal, is to be a fight for the title. Fans can say whatever they want. If they hate me, they don't like me. I don't care. I put the work in. I got the winning streak, and my goal isn't to beat every single ranked person in the division. My goal is to be a world champion, hold the gold, and to fight the next best guy. If Sean Brady beats me in Abu Dhabi, Sean Brady's weighing in as a backup. Sean Brady's probably fighting for the title next. They're pushing that fight with Sean Brady. Why am I not getting pushed? Why am I not the one that's the next guy in line? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.